Robert Lee Yates Jr., also known as the grocery bag unaliver, is an American serial unaliver from Spokane, Washington. From 1975 to 1998, he is known to have unalived at least 11 women in Spokane. He also confessed to 2 unalivings committed in Walla Walla in 1975 and a 1988 unaliving committed in Skagit County. In 2002, Yates was convicted of unaliving 2 women in Pierce County and sentenced to unalive, but was commuted to life without parole after the Washington Supreme Court ruled capital punishment unconstitutional in 2018. He is currently serving life in prison at the Washington State Penitentiary. Yates was born on the 27th of May 1952 and grew up in Oak Harbor, Washington in a middle-class family. They attended a local Seventh-day Adventist church. Before his birth, his grandmother had unalived his grandfather with an axe in 1945. Yates graduated from Oak Harbor High School in 1970. In 1975, he was hired by the Washington State Department of Corrections to work as a corrections officer at the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. In October 1977, he enlisted in the United States Army, where he became certified to fly civilian transport aeroplanes and helicopters. He was stationed in various countries outside the continental United States, including Germany and later Somalia and Haiti during the United Nations peacekeeping missions of the 1990s. He also served 3 years in the Army National Guard as a helicopter pilot from April 1997 through to April 2000. He earned several commendation and service medals during his military career, including the U.S. Army Master Aviator Badge. He left the active duty Army in April 1996, apparently a year and a half short of being eligible for his full retirement benefits and pension. At this time, the military was reducing its numbers, so he received full retirement despite being short of the customary 20 years served. He then joined the Army National Guard in April 1997 and served 3 years until his arrest in April 2000. He served a total of 21.5 years in the military. He has 5 children, 4 daughters and 1 son, with his second wife Linda, who he married in 1976. The children's birth years range from 1974 to 1989. Yates committed his first unalivings in 1975, where he shot and unalived 2 college students who were on a picnic together. Many of his subsequent victims were S-workers working along East Sprague Avenue who had substance abuse issues, and Yates would often do substances with them and other S-workers. Yates initially solicited the victims, having S with them. Often in his Ford van, he would unalive them and dump their bodies in rural locations. All of his victims passed away of a gunshot wound in the head or heart. 8 of the unalivings were committed with a Raven 25 caliber handgun, and 1 attempted unaliving was linked to the same model of handgun. On the 19th of September 1998, Yates was asked to give DNA sample to Spokane police after being stopped. He refused, stating that it was too extreme of a request for a family man. Patrick Allen Oliver and Susan Patricia Savage. On the 14th of July 1975, the bodies of Patrick Oliver, 21, and Patricia Savage, 22, were found shot in the head near Walla Walla. They were last seen the day before on their way home for an afternoon swim and picnic. Stacey Elizabeth Horn. On the 28th of December 1988, the partial skeleton of Stacey Horn, 23, was found near Big Lake. She was last seen on the 7th of July 1988 in Seattle. Yates confessed to picking up Horn in his van while she was working as an S-worker nearby. Shannon Reen Zienski. On the 14th of June 1996, Shannon Zienski, 38, was found shot in the head in Meade. Her partially nude body was found badly decomposed and dumped in a wooded area near a school bus stop. Zelensky had a lengthy criminal record and worked as an S-worker. Heather Louise Hernandez. On the 28th of August 1997, the body of Heather Hernandez, 20, was found in an overgrown lot in Spokane. She was shot 5 days earlier, according to detectives. She had only recently come to the area within a few weeks and was arrested twice for S-work. Jennifer Ann Joseph. On the 26th of August 1997, Jennifer Joseph, 16, was found shot in the head in a field in Spokane. Police found a brown towel and brown hair belonging to a white male at the scene. After her parents' divorce, she dropped out of high school and moved to Tacoma. She started using methamphetamine and became involved in S-work. She was unalived just a month after arriving in Spokane. Darla Sue Scott. On the 5th of November 1997, the partially decayed remains of Darla Scott, 29, were found in a shallow grave near a golf course in Spokane. Scott, who had a history of substances and S-work, died of a gunshot wound in the head, likely in September or October. Melinda Lee Mercer. On the 7th of December 1997, Melinda Mercer, 24, was found shot and dumped in a field in Tacoma. She had been shot several times and had 4 plastic bags covering her head. At Yates's trial, he revealed that even after he shot her in the head, Mercer had chewed through 2 bags before succumbing to her injuries. Mercer didn't have a criminal record. She reportedly worked as a waitress. Sean Lynette Johnson. On the 18th of December 1997, the body of Sean Johnson, 36, was found with 2 gunshot wounds and 2 plastic bags covering her head, about a mile from the remains of Darla Scott. She had been missing since the 29th of October 1997. Sean Ann McLennan and Laurie Plage Watson. On the 26th of December 1997, the bodies of Sean McLennan, 39, and Laurie Watson, 31, were found in a gully in Spokane. Both women were shot twice in the head, and their heads were wrapped with 3 plastic bags each. Watson, who was last seen on the 3rd of November, was a devoted mother of a 12-year-old son. Until a relapse with H unravelled 6 years of sobriety, she began working as an S-worker to fund her substance use. McLennan also struggled with H and was arrested in early November for forging a check during a binge. She had been missing since the 18th of December. McLennan had a passion for Winnie the Pooh and loved to attend auctions and yard sales. Said her brother Patrick McLennan. She married 4 times and had a son. Her sister Kathy Lloyd, a teacher in Spokane, said an addiction to painkillers Sean took for an arm injury led to H and a life on the streets. She'd worked at a hospital laboratory but had to quit because of the injury. Said Lloyd. In early December 1997, Lloyd received a birthday card from her sister telling her how hard it was on the streets. The card bore good news too. Sean had been accepted into a methadone program and was determined to leave her life of drugs. Then Christmas arrived and Lloyd didn't hear from her sister. She said, Laurie Watson bred and trained Rottweilers. She also operated an adult family home and was licensed by the state. Sonny Gale Oster. On the 8th of February 1998, Sonny Oster, 41, was found shot to death in an identical manner as McLennan and Watson in a rural area of Spokane. Oster, a mother of 2, was last seen in October. She disappeared the day after completing a drug treatment program. Lisa Marie Mabin. On the 1st of April 1998, the remains of Lisa Mabin, 34, also known as was found in Spokane, just 100 yards from the bodies of Sean McLennan and Laurie Watson. She was shot once and had 2 plastic bags covering her head. Mabin had been working as an S-worker and had been missing since the 22nd of November 1997. Melody Ann Murfin. Sometime in mid-May 1998, Melody Murfin, 43, went missing. She was considered a victim of the same unaliver due to her history and association with the other victims, but her body was not discovered until 6 months after Yates's arrest and subsequent confession. She was buried beneath his bedroom window. Michelin Joanne Denning. On the 7th of July 1998, Michelin Denning, 47, was found shot once in the head in Spokane. The .25 caliber bullet casing was still in her hair. She was found nude and partially obscured by a hot tub cover. She was the daughter of a Marine Corps colonel. She grew up a military brat, graduating from high school in Virginia and attending Paloma College in California before moving to nearby San Diego to be an executive secretary. She married and had a son, but drugs cost her marriage. She lost custody of her son. She moved to Spokane in 1997, working a variety of jobs, from a ranch hand to a nursing assistant. At one point, she renewed a friendship with a computer instructor she had met in San Diego. He helped her find an apartment and befriended her, but later moved away to Arizona. Christine Smith. On the 1st of August 1998, Christine Smith filed a police report for assault and robbery after she was hit in the head during an S-act. She described the man as about 50 years old, 5'10", 175 pounds, with sandy blonde hair. His vehicle was described as a 70s era black van, with an exterior yellow-orange stripe, bucket seats, wood panelling, and a raised bed. Smith also told police the man told her that he was a National Guard helicopter pilot and had 5 children. Police discovered bullet fragments in her hair. Smith was unaware that she'd actually been shot. Upon seeing Yates' photo in the newspaper following his arrest, Smith contacted the police and identified Yates as the man who had assaulted her. She's the only known survivor of Yates, Connie Lynn Ellis LaFontaine. On the 13th of October 1998, the body of Connie Ellis LaFontaine, 35, was found in a ditch in Tacoma. She was shot once in the head and had 3 plastic bags covering her head. She previously worked as a hairdresser in Spokane, but fell into substances and S-Works 6 years after she moved, following the passing of her son who was waiting for a heart transplant. Ellis was Chippewa and the eldest of 5 children. Ellis grew up on a Turtle Mountain Indian reservation. Her mother moved to Spokane when Ellis was still in high school, and Ellis moved between family in Washington State and North Dakota. At age 17, she worked as a secretary for a tribal organization. She became the mother of a daughter early in life and suffered an abusive marriage. One of her 3 children, only her daughter Angel, survived. Ellis lost both of her sons in childhood, one as a baby to SIDS, and another to a heart condition at age 11 in 1996. Her father said he believes that the boy's passing contributed to Ellis's struggles with H. Ellis studied cosmetology and planned to be a hairstylist. She tried to get into treatment for her addiction problem, her father said. Yates was arrested on the 18th of April 2000 for the unaliving of Jennifer Joseph. After his arrest, a search warrant was executed on a white 1977 Chevrolet Corvette that he'd previously owned. A white Corvette had been identified as the vehicle in which one of the victims had last been seen. Coincidentally, Yates had been pulled over in this vehicle whilst the task force was searching for it, but the field interview report was misread as saying Camaro, not Corvette. Thus, the incident was not realised until after Yates had been arrested. After searching the Corvette, police discovered blood that they linked to Jennifer Joseph and DNA from Yates that they tied to 12 other victims. In 2000, he was charged with 13 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder in Spokane County Superior Court. As part of a plea bargain, Yates confessed to the murders to avoid the death penalty. He was sentenced to 408 years in prison. Charges were dropped without prejudice in the murder of Sean McLennan, so that if Yates appealed his other guilty sentences, he would be tried for her murder and possibly sentenced to death. Following his sentencing hearing, Yates made a statement apologising to the families of all the victims he had killed. In 2011, Yates was charged in Pierce County, Washington, with the murders of 2 additional women. The prosecution sought the death penalty for the charges of Melinda L. Mercier in 1997 and Connie Ellis in 1998, which they thought were to be linked to the killings in Spokane County. On the 19th of September 2002, Yates was convicted of those murders and subsequently sentenced to death by lethal injection on the 3rd of October 2002. The 2002 death sentence was appealed on grounds that Yates believed his 2000 plea bargain to be and that a life sentence for 30 murders and a death sentence for 2 constituted application of the death penalty. However, the arguments were rejected in 2007 by the Washington Supreme Court. A 19th of September 2008 execution date was stayed by Chief Justice Jerry L. Alexander pending additional appeals. In 2013, Yates' attorneys filed a habeas corpus petition in a federal district court stating that Yates was mentally ill and that predisposed him to commit murder. The still pending motion is regarded as a by most observers. Said Pierce County Prosecutor Mark Lindquist. Yates remains incarcerated at the Washington State Penitentiary. His case was further complicated by Washington Governor Jane Inslee's 2013 declaration that he wouldn't sign death warrants for anyone on death row while he was in office. Inslee cited the high cost of the appeals process, the randomness with which death sentences are sought, and a lack of evidence that the penalty serves as a deterrent to other criminals. In July 2015, the Washington Supreme Court once again rejected an effort by Yates to overturn his conviction and death sentence. After the Washington State Supreme Court ruled in 2018 that the death penalty violated the state's constitution, Yates's death sentence, as well as that of Washington's other death row inmates, was commuted to life in prison without the possibility of parole.